In 2005, Mary Nantongo Jingo, a former bank employee and mother of 7, got shocking news. She had walked into a clinic on Luwum Street, Kampala, to check her blood sugar. The lab attendant, who had just returned her results, asked why she had not taken her medicine yet. Shocked, she asked, "What medicine?" It was at that point that Nantongo was told she had diabetes.
My name is Mary Nantongo Jingo, and I'm a diabetic person. I used to work with Barclays Bank. Then it was Barclays Bank, but now it's ABSA. I worked there for 14 years and I left in 2003. Then after 3 years, 2 years, 2005, soon after I left the bank, that's when I tested myself and I found I was diabetic.
But the signs had been there. It started in 2003 when she had left her banking job after 14 years.
I worked with my brother. He had a school then in Kakiri called West Arts College. I worked there for some time as a bursar. So here I was running to my brother's place of where I used to report before going to school. And I would like, sweating on. I pull out a bottle of water. I used to move with a bottle of water towards my system, start drinking. And I heard my brother was looking at me and saying, "Why are you drinking water? Every time you reach here, you take out a bottle and drink water. And it's like it's cold, like today it's raining. Are you really sure you're not sick?" And I was like, "Why? Why are you saying I'm sick?" "Because the way you are drinking water in a cold weather, something must be wrong."
After 2 years, Nantongo decided to test her blood sugar levels while in Kampala due to persistent concerns over her health. That was when she discovered she had diabetes.
In 2005, now I'm talking 2005, I went to Long Street Clinic. I took a test, blood sugar levels. And the lab technician guy told me, "Your sugar levels are so high. Why haven't you taken your medicine?" And I was like, "Which medicine?" "You are diabetic." I wanted to collapse. I felt bad, my daughter, I felt bad. I thought I was going to die. I was shocked.
Her brother and his employee, as it turned out, were both diabetic. Thus, their suspicion were correct since they were based on experience. And for 19 years now, Nantongo has lived with diabetes as a result of good dieting and medication. In 2001, 716,000 Ugandan adults had diabetes, with 89% not on medication or aware of their condition, presenting with difficult to treat complications, according to the International Diabetes Foundation. According to Dr. William Lumu, president of the Uganda Diabetes Association, half of the people with diabetes are unaware of their conditions.
Us in the diabetes world, we say everybody is diabetic to prevent other ones. The 2014 STEP survey put the prevalence of diabetes at 1.4%, which could translate to about between 700 and 800,000 people with diabetes. Mark you, this could be even underestimated because many of our people do not know that they have diabetes. That's the most sort of worrying thing. But the most recent STEP survey, which was done last year, showed that this prevalence has increased to about 3.3%.
The World Health Organization reports that non-communicable diseases, including diabetes, are the leading causes of death globally, causing 41 million deaths annually. Diabetes, which is prevalent in low and middle income countries such as Uganda, caused 1.5 million deaths in 2019 alone. The challenge is in the food, says Dr. John Mudusu, a nutritionist at Kabasa Memorial Hospital in Budaka District, Eastern Uganda. Ugandans are overeating refined and junk foods, which induce rapid insulin production, hence the increase of diabetes, Dr. Mudusu says. He explains that refined foods are ready sugars that are quickly digested, leading to increased blood sugar levels and diabetes due to lack of roughage, which removes undigested food. Musa Mutiaba, Senior Associate at the Workforce Nutrition Program in the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition GAIN Uganda office, emphasizes that a healthy diet is crucial for prevention of NCDs. The nutritionists also advise against excessive consumption of refined carbohydrates, which are high in calories but lack fiber. We are seeing people eat more unhealthy than in the past, resulting in non-communicable diseases, including diabetes, says Dr. Susan Nakireka, a Mengo Hospital physician representing Uganda in the East African Non-Communicable Diseases Alliance initiative.
We are seeing people eating unhealthy more than in the past, and of course the obesity has increased because of still the lifestyle, food and physical inactivity. But it's not only lifestyle that is contributing to diabetes increase. There are many other things, but one of them is lifestyle, and that diet is also very key.
She warns, if you do not have a good dietary plan after you have been diagnosed, you will not manage diabetes.
We know that prevention is very key in making this the numbers go down. So one of the preventive measures is lifestyle intervention. Lifestyle includes diet, includes physical activity, other things. Now we know that the diet is a problem. The diet is important in both prevention but also in proper management of diabetes. Yeah, prevention but proper management. If you do not have a good dietary plan, even when after you've diagnosed the patient, you will not manage their diabetes well.
With this ominous warning, Nantongo joined the Food Camps movement to learn about healthy eating. Having noticed diabetes increasing rapidly and witnessing poor nutrition practices among people with diabetes, the Diabetic Association in Uganda introduced a food camp in 2022 to educate them and the public about healthy food options, cooking techniques, and meal scheduling.
In terms of quantification, we are using easy tools. For example, there is a plate that we use. This plate has, actually there are those plates around in town. They are partitioned.
Okay.
The bigger part of it has vegetables, the smallest part has the carbohydrate, and the other part has the protein. So we are encouraging people to have such plates for their meals. Yeah. So we also can use the fist. So our hand can also be used to determine how much you eat. With the fist being the amount of carbohydrate that you eat, your fist should be the total carbohydrate. Then your palm should hold the protein, and then you use 2 palms to eat the vegetables. So meaning as much as possible. So those are the kinds of quantifications we are using at the moment. But also we teach them the different quantities, selection of different quantities according to the food type. There are those which are high starch food, there are those which are high sugar containing food. So we teach them how to choose. For example, if you're eating posho, choose number 3 instead of number 1. Yes, if you're eating rice, choose brown instead of what? White. If you have to eat rice, eat this small quantity. If you have to eat the white rice. So those are the kinds of talks we give them.
For 2 years now, Uganda Diabetes Association, in collaboration with its branches across Uganda, has held many food camps to teach people about the importance of diet in controlling and preventing diabetes. The first camp was held at Mengo Hospital in Kampala, while the second was at Entebbe Grade A Hospital.
We go to an open space like last time we were at Entebbe Grade A ground. They gave us space. The local association, Entebbe Diabetes Association, is the one that organized, and they were able to work with the hospital to get that space. Then it's an open ground, and we set up stalls, and different people are able to exhibit the different things.
In addition, people offer themselves to support the camp without pay it is purely voluntary.
We work with different companies. Our biggest support has been the pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, that support us financially, and also other well-wishers.
Last year, on November 10th, to mark World Diabetes Day, commemorated annually on November 14th, Entebbe Diabetes Association, Uganda Diabetes Association, Entebbe Regional Referral Hospital, and the Ministry of Health held another camp. On the camp day, people started arriving as early as 5 a.m. at Entebbe Grade A hospital ground.
So people actually, at some point, we close before we have screened everyone. So there are those who miss out. And people, when it's a camp day, people arrive at 5 a.m. in the morning. It shows that people are crying out for help. And when the help is given, as however small, they really will receive it.
Stalls were set up in the open ground and different people could exhibit their services. The food camp was held in that space. We cooked real food and showed people how to prepare a healthy diet. Nakireka narrated, because UDA is a volunteer association, members offered to buy the food and cook it with the people at the camp. The nurses and other medical personnel who usually provide health education in the diabetes clinics offered to prepare the food with people gathered. They demonstrated how food should be prepared and the right food choice to control or prevent diabetes. Lumu guided Nantongo to eat more vegetables including amaranthus or pigwig and collard greens daily as they are considered medicine. Dr. Kalibala advised Nantongo to avoid cooking oils, fats, margarine, cheese spreads and butter and instead opt for boiled food, which she dutifully follows.
There's a Dr. Kalibala, he always tells us about those things, how to prepare your food. The cooking oil is not good. He told us this ghee from the animal muzigo, so this ghee is not good to put in the food. The cooking oil is not good in your food. You can at least avoid that and put olive oil.
Today, she is an enthusiast for a balanced diet. She has a meal timetable. Each meal is predominantly vegetables with a moderate meat intake.
We have to make sure to eat well. You don't eat a lot of carbohydrates. You don't take sugar. You don't take sugar cane. You don't eat too much. That's important. When you're taking breakfast, don't overdo it. Don't overeat. Because if you overeat, your sugars levels will just get out of hand. Your plate of food should be having a lot of vegetables, especially greens, 3/4 vegetables. The food should be like a quarter of it. When you're taking matoke, don't take more than 2 fingers. 2. Then you can put a little sugar, 1 scoop of rice, 1 scoop of a big scoop, or 3 small medium-sized spoons of rice, 1 piece of Irish, and a small piece like this, that like a small phone of posho. And if you're taking sweet potatoes, very little again. You shouldn't overdo it. You shouldn't, like when you're going for a buffet and then you see that you have a lot of food and then you put on 4 pieces of Irish and then you put on pumpkin. Pumpkin is bad. Pumpkin has a lot of sugar. Just put a little bit of pumpkin. Yams, they have a lot of sugar. Put a little. Matoke is the best which doesn't have a lot of sugar. You can take 2 pieces of matoke, fingers, not more. And I understand when the matoke is mashed, like the Baganda prepare the matoke, they put on fire, they mash, they put again on fire, they put green leaves, indagala, this indagala. They cover, they again put fire. I understand that matoke which is overdone is not also good for diabetes.
Her caretaker, Gloria Nampima, manages the daily routine, waking up early to prepare special meals and give Nantongo her medications on time.
It's not easy taking care of her, but I manage. When I wake up in the morning, like at 7 a.m., I give her a cup of hot water with hibiscus. After she takes this warm water, like at 7 a.m., like at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., breakfast must be ready for her. She takes breakfast, and she doesn't eat sugar things. I try to get like cassava or sambosas for her, or salted bread. Yeah, she takes, and lunch must be ready like at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. because she has diabetes.
The dietary loyalty has paid off. Nantongo no longer frequents the hospital and does not live in fear of diabetes like it is a death sentence.
I'm a hardworking person and I'm still hustling at this age. And I'm not lazy. I don't sit around, I run around. When it comes to going for mechanical repairs for those taxis, because they are not very new, they are kind of, I bought them in their second hand. I go there, make sure I am there, seeing. What is that part that you have brought out of my car? It's called this. Okay, bring the new one and I see. And then I have to see. I have to be active. Be active. Work hard as if you're going to live 40 more years or 50 more years. Oh God, don't say that I'm going to die tomorrow because I'm diabetic. I don't even think about death. I used to think about death in 2005. when I found I was diabetic, yeah? I thought I was going to die. But look at me now, 20 years since. I'm still running strong. And when people look at me, they don't think I'm 60.
By following the doctor's dietary advice, preparing her food right, and eating well, she has her sugar level under control and is living normally with diabetes.
People think I'm young because I have a positive attitude. And I trust God. It's God's hand, God's help, just help me to have a positive mind. Go for prayers. Go and worship your God. Come back when you are refreshed to go through the week. In the midweek, go to church. Go to wherever you go for prayers. Don't leave God out of your life. Otherwise, you're going to be depressed. But the devil is just enjoying it when you're depressed. The devil will put you down. Say, now look, you're going to die. Now look, you don't have money. Where are you going to get the money for that special diet that doctors told you? You are finished. All those whispers, those thoughts, just brush them out of your life. So,
even for Rachel Bawaira, 49, a diabetic amputee, understanding diet was a problem. Meager financial resources worsened it until she joined the food camps. In the 1990s, at 23, Bawaira was diagnosed with diabetes. She had just started work upon completing nursing school. Her diet was inferior.
Diet has been a problem. It's a general problem for all of us, the diabetic patients. Some of them, they fail to understand. Others, because of their financial status, they fail to eat what they are supposed to eat. But when I tried the diet they told us, even up to now, is what I'm doing well. I used to have a lot of headache. That constant headache is not so serious, but it's constant, mild headache. And sometimes I could feel I'm weak. I mean, you could feel too much heat. Then eventually when you inject yourself, because you have eaten badly, again when I could sort of see that the sugar level is risen, then I could inject myself. Again it falls, and then that's also not a good. It's a bad condition when you go into hypo. But at least now I've seen a change in my life. And before I wasn't doing anything. Always at home, you feel you are weak. I mean, you don't have energy. You are there with that mild headache. But now at least I can do some work for myself. Yes. And actually I can spend a month when I've not felt any headache, not even general body weakness. I mean, I'm always busy as compared to the way I was before.
Bawaira was gifted an artificial limb, overcame stigma, returned to her community and started fending for her family. Thanks to the food camps, a good diet has ensured her health.
Amidst that, God brought me a good Samaritan, a lady who knew me very well. She came and bought me an artificial limb. I was like, she told me, no, friend, I don't want you to stay inside the house because I had that stigma also. But she said, you can come back in the community, interact with the people. That's what I'm concerned. But that thing helped me so much. She bought me that whatever, the artificial limb. I started walking. I started interacting with people. Up to now, I've moved places and places of that. Yeah, I no longer feel the stigma. Now I'm always happy when I see somebody who has been amputated. I know that that's what is passing through. So I come in to counsel. I counsel them. Even if someone is in Mukono, they get me, I go there and counsel that person. Because some of them, they always think of death all the time.
She acknowledges that people diagnosed with diabetes don't know how to manage their diet efficiently, and the public needs to be educated.
The partial, you said the fine one, the white one was bad, but it's what you liked.
It's bad. It has too much starch in it. Yet this one, I think, because of because for it is not white, it's brown like that. But when they are making it, they leave even the outer coating of the maize. So I think that one is more valuable. It works very much for diabetic patients because it has worked for me. I learned also that at first we thought that maybe eating fruits is also bad, yet we used not to eat fruits which are recommendable, and we could eat even too much of the fruits which were available around us. But I learned how to use the fruits. Yes, that I didn't know even that even a diabetic patient can eat sweet bananas. Yet you can eat, but you eat little, not too much.
Dr. Nakireka of Mengo Hospital happily notes that people are beginning to show interest in living healthily.
That's why we decided that on top of what we've been doing, screening, let's also add food preparation, proper preparation education that come. I think for the last two Diabetes Day camps, we have had food as part of the education section, because we've seen a challenge in food. People, and of course, one of the challenges we see is that our food is not quantified. Unlike the Western diets where they measure, they tell you this has calories, this package has these calories, our food is not yet quantified. So we are trying to teach people in the simplest way on how to prepare food, how to quantify the food, how to choose the food that will not affect their blood sugar so much, how to choose healthy options for those who are not yet diabetic. So for those who are not yet diabetic, because like I said, we are targeting prevention. The numbers are really getting bigger and bigger. And we know that you can delay diabetes by a period of time if you change your lifestyle. So we are also teaching them to adopt a healthy eating habits. And of course, there are those whom we assess and they are high risk. Someone is obese, someone is not physical active. So we really teach them to look at their risk of diabetes. You have a family history. Your dad is diabetic, so you're high risk. You're high risk. Then you're taught how to live healthy so that you can delay onset of diabetes by a period of time by eating your food. So we also take them through how they can eat healthy, how can they choose better food. We are also targeting even the younger people, because we are seeing the younger people are also really at risk, very high risk, because of the kinds of food they are exposed to. Yeah, so we want also the parents to take this on so that it's like a culture in their home. So if the parents can also start saying, no, we have to have vegetables in our house every day, we have to have fruits, have to have, we are going to abandon this food, blue band no more in our house. It's a good thing.
At the food camp, people are taught in the simplest way how to choose and prepare food that will not affect their blood sugars for those who are not yet diabetic. Dr. Nakireka explains how to choose healthy food options, declaring the intervention is working.
Now, I must tell you that, we are really, you're like, if you're in a middle of a very big lake, that's the point where we are. Where we are, we have many big, numbers that we are seeing. I must say we could say we are still at the formation stage. Those early stages when you're starting something, that's where we can say. So that's why I wouldn't really want to say we are seeing big impact as yet. What I'm seeing now, because of this media interest and all publicity, people are beginning to show interest in living healthy. So they are coming to us. That's the first step. So which is a good thing. But also right now I'm currently in a training. We are training health workers from different regions. But we can't reach everyone. For us, we are senior doctors. So we cannot manage everyone. We actually have big clinics which are overwhelming us. So we are trying to go down to the people, right, even to the VHT, talk to people, to reach people and teach them these things. So we hope that this change will come in future. It will. I cannot say it has happened yet. Those camps have big budgets because then we do not only do food. We had to check the eyes. We had to check the feet. We had to have the food. We had to check. We did many things. So it holds a big budget. We had different organizations that supported us on top of the pharma companies. I can tell you it is costly, it is expensive to have that. Then of course we had to get people to cook the food, real cooking. We had to show people how to prepare the food. So we had real food. Yeah. So all that one really, when you bring up everything, it costs us money. Once we received, we had within us, because this is an association, it's a volunteer association. So within us, the members of the association, we had members who agreed to buy the food and cook it. The nurses who provide health education, usually in the clinic, offered to prepare the food. They were able to present it to the people on how it should be prepared. The choice of, for example, which sweet potato should I choose versus which one. How to show people all those things.
We'll talk about nutrition later in detail, but nutrition, what you eat. Make sure that you control the content of refined sugars in your diet. This can be in sodas. This can be all these bottled drinks, the drinks you buy from supermarket. They are very refined sugars. So refined, what do you mean? When you take it, the body doesn't digest anything. It just gets it absorbed. And when it gets absorbed, it naturally causes your blood glucose levels to escalate, to go up. When they go up, your pancreas will respond to that. So just imagine yourself, you have had 2 bottles of soda, some juice somewhere. So your pancreas is already being strained. So eventually, if you do it that one over a period of time, the pancreas may suffer exhaustion, and when it suffers exhaustion, stop producing glucose and eventually get diabetes. So initially, you may not get diabetes because it is still functioning very well. The other problem why we don't want people to take, the advise them to go from refined drinks, is when you take refined drinks, it gets converted into fat. And this fat can be deposited into your liver and you get a fatty liver. And once you have a fatty liver, you have started the diabetes journey. And once you have the fat will be deposited along your we call it mesentery, some form of I call it intestine. I don't want to call it intestine, but some part along the intestine. And that fat is toxic in the sense that it will do what? It will be broken down into substances. These substances are going to oppose the action of insulin. And how do you know that you are likely to be having mesenteric fat? Is when you have central obesity, what they call the corruption curve. I forgot to put it in the risk factors. When you are obese, most especially around the waist, and you put on a tummy. So that one, we want people to go away from that, refined whatever drinks. By the way, even fruits, getting them and you put them in a blender and you break out that good fiber which traps the fructose is also dangerous. I've seen people trying to maintain weight, control weight. They run away from food, and the next thing they want to do is to do the juices. Now, doing juices may not help you, may not save you from whatever we are talking about. In fact, when you do it, it's like you've bought some refined drink from the supermarket.
Even so, most people cannot afford a balanced diet at home, which forces them to eat unhealthy foods. Some people with diabetes also have cravings for sugary foods like cake.
I do cheat. Let me confess, I do cheat. I can be at a function and then they serve a cake. It was my weakness all through my life. I love cakes. And then a plate comes around and I pick a piece of cake and I eat it. That's cheat. My doctor told me don't eat sweet things, but when I'm at a function, I eat it. After eating, what do? I take a lot of water to wash it down to make sure it doesn't affect me. I take lots of water, and that's how I manage it. When I cheat, I make sure I take a lot of water, more than I've been taking, and it has worked for me. I don't know about the others. I also would like to hear about others, how they manage their sugar levels.
Dr. Mudusu, the Kabasa Memorial Hospital nutritionist, notes the type of food is not the problem. Just eat with caution. The fear is that some people may eat foods that quickly spike sugar levels, hence the restrictions, he says. Dr. Lumu is equally against restricting diets when sick and says how food is cooked and what time it is eaten is crucial.
When you look at glucose within your bloodstream, 60% of it comes from the glucose from the food we eat. All right? If you're looking at, let's say, 100 grams of glucose in one's blood, 60 grams of this will be coming from the food the person has eaten. So if you want to control glucose, if you want to control diabetes, it is only wise to go to the biggest source, which is the food which we eat. And when you look at the contribution of this glucose comes from the starches. The starches include your cassava. The starches include your Irish potatoes. The starches include your matoke. The starches include your kalo. The starches include your yam. The starches include your. Have I talked about matoke? Yes. The starches include your rice. The starches include your spaghetti. The starches include your plantain, which is gonja, and many others. Okay? And if a diabetic learns to control this, to control the portion of these, then you are good to go. For us in UD, Uganda Diabetes Association, we are against the idea of advising patients to stop everything that contains starch. Yeah? Because they need the starch. You need the starch for energy. The carbohydrates are needed for energy. And you cannot swap proteins, you cannot swap carbohydrates with the proteins. And you say that, you know what, Lomo, I want your glucose levels to be low. Go off starch completely. I want you to take fish. I want you to take chicken. Once you do that, I'm going to lose the weight. In fact, when people stop carbohydrates, they are going to lose weight dramatically. Within a week, somebody has wasted away. But that's not maintainable. And after when they waste away, what happens? Their body is going to resort to alternate sources of energy. That is the fat and the protein. So the bottom line is to, 1, look at the individual you have before you. What work does this person do? What are his energy requirements? A man of 40 years who pushes a cart in Chikuwo, and another 40-year-old man, same build, who is a CEO in Mira, and another 40-year-old man who works in a shamba, they're all 40-year-old men, maybe same body habitus, you're going to find that their energy requirements are going to be very different. Whereas this 40-year-old man who sits in a mirror office, because he doesn't exercise his muscles at his desk, the energy requirements of this man are going to be very different from the energy requirements of a 40-year-old brother of his who works in the shamba. And the converse is also true when you're talking about the Chikuo man. And that one we should always remember. So instead of having the same rhetoric, the same information, eat like this for this one, no, look at what they do. The same thing also happens, the same thing is also true when you tell people to take, you see, breakfast must be heavy, lunch must be modest, you're supposed to have less supper. It's not always true. A man who works in a factory, for example, at night, who is ferrying boxes from one point to a lorry to pack them, he needs a bigger supper compared to the morning when he's going to have his nap to prepare for the night. So you have to put all this in consideration. What are the energy requirements of this patient you have? What does he do? What does he have at his disposal? And then you come up with an individualized meal plan. So the meal plan should be individualized, and all these factors must be put in perspective. Now for diabetic, the same thing also applies. What is the age of this patient? Yeah? A 20-year-old boy, a 16-year-old boy still requires all these requirements for growth. Whereas a 70-year-old may not need this. So when you are restricting a 70-year-old, don't have this, the same may not be true for a 16-year-old and 18-year-old boy. Now, the problem with this, now people want things written out on a piece of paper. If you have diabetic, eat this, eat that, don't eat this, don't eat that. My dear friends, doesn't work out that way for diabetic. You must look out of all these factors. And then you start going into the nitty-gritties. You've seen this patient, you have estimated the energy requirements, then you now start asking them how they spend their day. Ask them, how do you spend your day? For myself, I'm very active in the morning. Most of my work, by noon, I'm done. So that means that now when you are distributing the energy, you're going to make sure that the biggest percent, 2/3 of it, is going to be consumed between morning and lunch. Another patient, the nature of my work, for my work starts from lunch. Actually, I'm very busy around 4, 5, 6. Actually, I stop working at 10 p.m. I'm very busy between lunchtime and 10 p.m. Morning, light. So you're likely to redistribute their energy that way. Let's say if you have calculated 600 kilocalories, that's what maybe you need. I can say, for this man who works hardest from morning up to noon, 2/3 of this energy will be distributed between maybe lunch, between breakfast and lunch. Then the other, a third, in the evening. And the converse is true for the other one. So that's what should be done. Now we've seen, because your question was, what was the basis of all this? We've seen that treating with nutrition advice is not done the way it should be done. And that leads to poor control of blood glucose. Secondly, all the advices which are coming from here and there, they are frustrating patients. They are causing confusion to patients. Then the third, some of the nutritional advice given is not scientific, doesn't follow scientific principles, and yet it should follow scientific principles. Because you cannot ask a patient of, let's say, diabetes or weight control, that what I want you to take, only greens and fish. This patient is going to walk. This patient is going to work in a shop. That is not following scientific. principles, scientific principles of nutrition. We have what we call PVC. P standing for protein, V standing for vitamins, C standing for carbohydrates. So if you give me fish and what? And vegetables, what have you given me? You have given me vitamins and protein. What about the C? So that's why we come up with this. But even then, what also made us do this one, to do a practical where we actually, for our patients, we cook the actual food items which we have here in the central. We cook for them kalo, we cook for them matoke, we cook for them yams, we cook for them, name it. We bring them in the raw form. We also bring them in a cooked way. For example, the matoke, if I could go with the matoke, even the matoke, much as people think that matoke is safe, it's not the safest. It can also cause rise in blood glucose. But we want the matoke to be eaten how? We want matoke which is young, if that word exists. We don't want matoke which is too mature, matoke which has overstayed. And then we also need to look at the size of the fingers of the matoke you take. So that's what you demonstrate. We first demonstrate to you how it looks like, the one we're talking about. Then we actually cook it for you. We shall have it the Katogo way. We shall also have it the mashed way. And then we take it down. Then we actually show you the amount we are talking about here, so that you actually appreciate. All right? Now, once we do this food cup, why are we demonstrating and not just talking? Through my clinics, I normally ask patients to take for me pictures of what they eat, what we call a pictorial food diary. Oh, lots of information from that. The patient tells himself, I eat vegetables, I eat matoke. They really take pictures, they bring to you little vegetables like this, a kilogram of matoke, and the sugars are not coming down. Oh, the same matoke, the amount may be the right one, but when you look at the texture of the matoke, this is almost turning into it is sweet. And so these are things that us health workers we don't take note of. Oh, somebody tell you, I'm sorry, take beans and matoke. Which type of beans? Dry beans. Then you reach the plate, the 3/4 of the plate has dry beans, and all of us know the starch content of dry beans. So that's why we are doing these camps a little bit to find out what is it that is making our patients not do what we tell them to do. Where is the confusion coming from? I think that's the reason why we are doing these camps. The other question you had, are they being effective? Are they working? For us in medicine, once you say effective, it means a study. Yeah? For us, once you mention effectiveness of something, you must prove. And that's the study. For sure, we haven't done a study to actually look at patients who have done it and patients who have not done it. And then we have clinical endpoints to follow, and then we see which group does better than the other. So that one I may not be able to answer now, but hopefully, since you're asking me such questions, these are things to think about.
Food is medicine before you get sick and needed by the body when you are sick, says Dr. Christopher Kwizera, the Executive Director, Uganda NCD Alliance. But that as it may, the beneficiaries are hopeful that the frequency of the camps will increase, not decrease. We should have the food camp twice or 3 times a year to raise awareness about diabetes and how to avoid it, and for those with it to learn how to manage and live normally with diabetes through a good diet, appealed Bawaira.
If someone comes in the camp and is educated about the diet, especially dieting, because majority even they are educated to check before you fall sick. You check and see, but majority they just collapse and they are taken to hospital. So when they come before they are diagnosed, then someone is diagnosed that is diabetic, then it starts treatment early, that person will live longer. Yes, education is very important for those who are not victims. it is very, very helpful to them. They've even learned about the diet, especially because some of them, at least from the age of 40, they eat too much meat, they take a lot of milk, you see, accumulating cholesterol in their bodies, then they end up getting the diabetes, then even hypertension. But once they are educated and then they control, at least, that one helps, yes.
Okay.
Download the app on App Store or Google Play Store now. Vision Digital Experience, the future of media.